NMH at 1 informs on the news making waves in Namibia, Africa and the rest of the world during the lunch hour.
Coming up in this broadcast, Namibia is engaging Germany to ensure commercial viability of landmark green hydrogen project. City of Windhoek introduces new disaster risk framework. Gondwana talks about their involvement at the Tourism Expo. No weekend plans, no worries, as the weekend gig guide highlights events not to be missed.
These stories, economic news, sports updates, and international headlines coming your way, read to you by Ashwin Berry and Aina Raiza Hueo. In today's midday news update, bushfires have been raging over the Karas Mountains in the south of Namibia for days. The first reported estimations indicate over 9,000 hectares of grazing grass destroyed. Since Wednesday evening, fires stretching over 30 kilometers in length and 10 kilometers wide over the mountaintops and farmlands. According to Sheriff Marshal Sean Naude, the terrain is difficult to access, with rough rocky grounds making it difficult to reach with vehicles or firefighters, forcing people to go in by foot, risking life to fight the fires. Some parts of the fires ran along the tops of the mountains, leaving all helpless, only able to watch as it spread over vast areas. There are confirmed reports of persons injured from falling on rocks, with grazes, cuts and bruises fighting in the mountains.
Now, please do remember to engage with these stories on social media as we share some community stories from across the country on the other side of this short commercial break in our visual news segment. Stay with us.
Flex is your health and fitness show that focuses on the health of the mind, body and spirit. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na.
In our visual news this afternoon, Namibia is engaging with Germany to make sure the landmark green hydrogen project is commercially viable. Namibia will soon announce more partnerships for the project at COP27, said James Nyube, Namibia's Green Hydrogen Commissioner. This clip was submitted by Jemima Piekes. Let's have a look.
So faced with these realities, and Namibia's fairly unique circumstances, but not as unique as one might have thought, we tried to take as practical an approach as possible to try to contribute to decarbonizing hard-to-abate sectors, but of course at the same time trying to contribute to our own country's industrialization agenda and objectives. To give you some context for some of you who may not be familiar with Namibia, almost half of our employed population is actually working in agriculture, and our largest generation asset in Namibia, and Deadlock will tell you, is Ruakana, which is a hydroelectric power station. And of course, when there's a drought, the agricultural sector will get hit pretty bad, and of course, the amount of electricity that we can generate for ourselves would also be very adversely impacted. Therefore, we have to import even more electricity from the SAPP, sometimes from South Africa, which in itself is energy distress, but of course a lot of the power that we'd be getting from them is generated by coal-fired power stations, as Kuda mentioned. So you can see the cacophony of dilemmas that are contributing to the energy insecurity, poverty, and at the same time climate vulnerability of Namibia, but actually Southern Africa as a region. So we decided to try and open up our country to try and contribute meaningfully to decarbonizing these hard-to-abate sectors, but we also knew the task at hand was too big for Namibia to do alone. And so we did go out and look for friends, partners such as Germany, even the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung Foundation contributed to a hydrogen market study essentially that we undertook across Europe, where we ended up meeting potential customers. Because at the end of the day, climate change, and this is one of the small things that we do want to encourage small nations to consider, combating climate change can actually be a practical and profitable endeavor. It can be a business.
Windhoek Mayor Sade Governance yesterday announced that the city of Windhoek has created a framework that would help residents manage future disasters. Governance was in hopes that the tools given to schools and the community will help them manage risks in the future. Governance also highlighted the importance of skills such as operating fire extinguishers and carrying out emergency drills. The event took place in commemoration of the annual International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. Elizabeth Joseph was there.
Namibia has developed and adopted a national strategy for mainstreaming disaster risk reduction. In the same vein, disaster risk reduction within the city needs to be mainstreamed throughout all departmental plans. I'm happy to inform you that in May this year, Council approved the reviewed disaster risk management plan following consultations with all departments and external key stakeholders. The plan is accessible to the public on our website. Furthermore, for the first time since the promulgation of the Disaster Risk Management Act, the city established its Disaster Risk Management Committee, which held its first meeting on the 21st of September 2022. The following plans and programs complement this year's IDDRR theme very well. The Disaster Risk Management Plan, which outlines the roles of all the departments prior, during and after a disaster occurs. The plan further considers the importance of community involvement during all phases of any disaster situation, as well as the media, tertiary institutions, non-governmental organizations, and the private sector. Number 2, the Community Risk Assessment, short for CRA. This project has specific objectives. Number 1, to assess risks and hazards faced by communities and the capacities they have to deal with them. Identify disaster risk reduction activities to prevent or lessen the effects of expected hazards, risks, and vulnerabilities. Draw up a disaster risk management action plan for inclusion in the development plans of the city and to those of other stakeholders. Devise preparedness and response plans for identified unavoidable risks. Compile a comprehensive report on all the findings and recommendations for stakeholders, and to compile a citywide risk profile.
Lots of fun is loading at this year's Tourism Expo, and host of our morning show, Smell the Coffee, Queen Peters, earlier today caught up with Jess Baker, who is the marketing manager at Gondwana, to talk about their involvement at the Tourism Expo. Let's have a look at their conversation.
Now, we are all very excited about the upcoming Tourism Expo that will be taking place in November. We will be showcasing all our exhibitors so our viewers know exactly what to expect at the Tourism Expo. With us in studio is Jess Becker, Group Brand Marketing Manager at Gondwana. Thank you very much for joining us, Jess.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before we start, I have to ask this question. Did you guys find Mickey back in 2017?
Find Mickey?
Yeah, the cat.
Oh, yes, we did. We did. Sorry, it took me a moment there. We did.
No. Where was she?
She was actually in one of the storage rooms. She snuck in there while they were carrying things out and then accidentally got locked in. But we did find her.
Ah, thank you. That's good news. Now, you will be at the Tourism Expo this year. Yes. What can the expo goers expect to find at your stall?
Well, we'll definitely have a couple of consultants available so that we can ensure to do a couple of bookings for you, assist with Gondwana card applications. And then we'll also do a special feature on our most recent product launch, which we launched in May, called the Go-To Traveler Transfers.
Okay, I definitely want a Gondwana card as well. I need to come make a turn at your stand.
It's a useful thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm really, at the expo specifically,
yes.
I'm really excited to just get to see everybody again. I mean, tourism has always been, especially the Tourism Expo, has been the social event for the industry. And for the last few years, I know we had Expo in 2020, but it's always been complicated with COVID, understandably. And it's going to be nice to just see all the partners again, to engage with everybody again, engage with our consumers network, but also just get to know everybody again a little bit after the distance that we've needed to apply for so long.
Definitely. Now tell us, what has been your highlight at Gondwana?
Gosh, there's so many. Gondwana is an awesome company to work for. So highlights, we've had a couple, but in this year, let's shorten the span a little bit, was definitely the launch of the Go-To. We, as said, launched in May, and it was just really exciting to get everybody together again. And we had a huge proper tourism party again, and it was fun, and it was good to see everybody, and it was good to just let loose a little bit in a casual environment, but still have something to look forward to with regards to the products, and then launching back into high season. Not the way it used to be, but definitely on its way.
It is a Friday and NMH's Michael Kayunde lets us in on what's hot and trending on the social calendar. Here's our weekend gig guide.
Good day, NMH at One viewers. My name is Michael Kayunde, and I'm here to give you a lowdown of the events that are taking place this weekend. So in case you're at home and you don't know what to do this weekend, you can catch chill sessions tonight at 1900 hours, airing right here on Namibian Sun's Facebook page. The show also gets repeated tomorrow morning on NTV as well as GoTV. That is tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. Moving along with the events that are taking place this weekend, you can also catch, that is the opening of the Ochomwise Life Arts Festival. It's the opening is taking place today at 1700 hours at the College of the Arts Theatre School in town right here in Windhoek. There's going to be a keynote address from, that is Sanet Steenkamp from the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture. The event is going to take place over the duration of a whole week, which means from today until next week, Friday. That is on the 22nd of October, with different performances as well as exhibitions in and around Windhoek. And lastly, you can catch, that is the long-awaited fight between King Tidi as well as Team Ekanjo, that is for the Never Walk Alone project, taking place tomorrow at Windhoek Country Club, Resort and Casino. Before the fight, there are going to be musical performances by Gaza, Twazis, as well as Master KG from South Africa. So please make your way to the Windhoek Country Club tomorrow so that you can see who's going to be knocked out between King Tidi as well as Team Ekanjo. The project is for Never Walk Alone, where they raise funds to help the less fortunate by buying them, that is shoes that they buy them for. So if you are going to go there and you're buying a ticket, just know that you are doing this for a good cause. Those are some of the events that are taking place this weekend. I'll be back again next week, same time, same place. From me, Michael, until then, it's bye-bye.
We will be starting off our newspaper review with news from the political scene in a bit. Stay with us.
Leading the newspaper review is news from the political arena as SWAPO veteran and former Prime Minister Naha Sangula has called on President Hage Geingob to explain why Jerry Ekanjo is being stripped of his democratic right to contest for the position of Vice President at the party's Congress next month. Despite being duly nominated and meeting requirements for the position, Ekanjo has been completely kept out of the race. Not even the withdrawal of Defense Minister Frans Kapofi has eased Ekanjo's passage into the contest, which will determine SWAPO's presidential candidate for 2024 and possibly the country's head of state. Now, the paper's page 3 zooms in on workers' rights as President Hage Geingob says government has always enjoyed a harmonious relationship with Namibian labor movements and prioritizes workers' rights. He made the comments following the opening of the Namibia Public Workers Union National Congress, currently underway in Swakopmund. In a statement delivered on his behalf by Presidential Affairs Minister Christine Hoebes, Geingob said the welfare of workers as well as their rights remain important. According to the head of state, legislation has been enacted to establish a comprehensive labor law which governs all activities and the relationship between employers and employees.
Now, in our next stories, cries for help rang out from the Karasburg area to fight a giant wildfire that had already engulfed 53,000 hectares by Wednesday evening and was literally burning down an entire farm from corner to corner every day. Stakeholders who registered as affected parties in Head Springs investment exploration project in the Stempriad aquifer were surprised to be informed via email that the Namibian environmental consultant Environmental Compliance had terminated its contract with Head Spring.
Now, from Republican to Allgemeine Zeitung, as the Allgemeine Zeitung's front page reports on the two-day conference consultation of stakeholders on strategies and the way forward for Namibia in developing a renewable industry that is based on green hydrogen. The paper's page 3 reports that two men who stood trial for the murder of an elderly couple from Swakopmund 5 years ago were found guilty in the Windhoek High Court yesterday. Fabianus Lazarus and Simon Shidute strangled 79-year-old Roswitha Strelecki to death during a house burglary in 2017, while her 81-year-old husband Siegfried was assaulted. A charge of murder regarding Siegfried's death was reduced to assault. The 81-year-old died of an aneurysm days after the attack. Stay with us as we continue with the newspaper review after the break.
My.NA Property Show provides viewers with the best in-class content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest property-related products and services. If you would like to feature your brand or your campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Properties, more than just a roof over your head.
We kick off the second half of our newspaper review with the Namibian newspaper, which reports that 200 cases related to police brutality were recorded by the Namibian police between 2011 and 2021, with 37 of these cases resulting in a total payout of about 2.8 million Namibian dollars. However, civil cases against the police are on the rise, with 248 cases registered since 2020. This is according to the Namibian police spokesperson Kaunashi Gwambi, who says 151 cases of assault were recorded during 2011 and 2021. In a separate report, the paper informs that over 6,000 residents from 5 constituencies of the Kavango West region and their livestock have been left thirsty after theft of communal water pumps, which were stolen from 13 different villages. The paper's page 3 reports on the ongoing fish rot case, which an auditing firm forensic investigation into a fraud and corruption cases revealed has cost the Anti-Corruption Commission more than 15 million Namibian dollars. This is according to a testimony heard in the Windhoek High Court yesterday.
Now, according to New Era's lead story, Namibia remains resolute in its stance to vote against debating alleged widespread abuses in China's Xinjiang, citing a recent United Nations motion as being tabled through an ambush outside normal procedure. Namibia's position was clarified by International Relations Executive Director Penda Nanda yesterday. Nanda was responding to questions from New Era after it surfaced that the UN Human Rights Council late last Thursday in Geneva, Switzerland, voted against a Western-led motion to hold a debate on the human rights situation in China's Xinjiang autonomous region. Now, page 3 of the New Era takes us to Otavi, where the total debt owed to the town council for municipal services stood at 57.6 million Namibian dollars as at 6 September this year. This is an increase of 19.6% from the 48.2 million Namibian dollars owed during the financial year 2020-2021.
Now, since January 2022, the prices of goods and services in Windhoek have been increasing at a fast pace compared to other zones. The Namibian Statistic Agency inflation figures revealed Zone 2 recorded an annual inflation rate of 7.8% in September 2022 and averaged 6.5% year to date. Secondly, Zone 3, Karas, Erongo, Hardap and Omaheke recorded an inflation rate of 6.9% during the review period and average 5.5% year to date. In addition, the prices of goods and services in Zone 1, Kavango East, Kavango West, Kunene, Ohangwena, Omsati, Oshana, Oshikoto, Ochondo, Zupa and Zambezi increased by 6.6% in September 2022.
Now, global growth is expected to slow further next year. After the break, we highlight the indicators for this slow growth as we move closer to economic news.
In our economic news this afternoon, global growth is expected to slow further next year, the IMF said on Tuesday, downgrading its forecast as countries grapple with the fallout from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, spiraling cost of living and economic downturn. The world economy has been dealt multiple blows, with the war in Ukraine driving up food and energy prices following the coronavirus outbreak, while soaring costs and rising interest rates threaten to reverberate around the globe. More than a third of global economy is headed for contraction this year or next, and the three biggest economies, the United States, European Union and China, will continue to stall, he warned. In its report, the IMF trimmed its 2023 global GDP forecast to 2.7, 0.2 points down from July's expectations. Its world growth forecast for this year remains unchanged at 3.2%, the global growth price at its weakest since 2001, apart from during the global financial crisis and the worst of the pandemic, said the IMF.
Now, locally, beef from the northern communal areas is currently being exported into several new African markets, while it is also available for consumption in 3 towns south of the veterinary cordon fence. According to Meatco CEO Mwilima Mushokabanji, meat from the NCAs is exported to Ghana, Tanzania, the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Africa and Angola, while discussions are at an advanced stage to also penetrate the Middle Eastern market. A total of 131 tons of beef has been exported to Angola, 14 tons to Ghana, 7,130 tons to South Africa, and 2.5 tons to the DRC. He said meat from the NCAs has also been consumed in Windhoek, Swakopmund, and Walvis Bay for the past 5 months, while previously not being available south of the VCF, also known as the Red Line. Now, Mushoka Banji explained that the Red Line can serve as an enabler for agriculture, or it can hamper it. Of the 2.5 million cattle in Namibia, 64% is found in the NCAs. He added that Meatco capitalized on the African Continental Free Trade Area and did market analysis and engagement.
All right, now we take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is up in value against these major currencies, with the US dollar trading for 18 Namibian dollars and 22 cents. Letshego Holdings stock price rose by 0.4%, now trading for 2 Namibian dollars and 68 cents on the NSX. Local index closed higher on the NSX, while Trustco Group Holdings stock dropped by 23.5%. Copper and Brent crude oil have increased on price, while other commodity prices have dropped.
Now, rather tragic news from Mali, where at least 11 people were killed and 53 injured when a bus hit an explosive device in central Mali on Thursday, according to a hospital source. The explosion was confirmed by a security source in the Mopti area, a region known as a hotbed for jihadist violence. Stay with NMH at 1 as we bring you more news from the African continent. Sport Wrap is a weekly English print edition which unpacks the latest on local and international sport news, printed on Mondays in the Republican, Namibian Sun and Allgemeine Zeitung. The Sport Wrap edition publishes news from all sport codes as well as profiles of local and international sports stars.
In our African news this afternoon, South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique and Tanzania are the Southern African Development Community countries which chose to abstain from a United Nations vote in condemning Russia's annexing part of Ukraine. This comes at a time when African countries attempt a somewhat non-alignment stance in a divided world scenario which could escalate to war. That could escalate the world to war. In total, 35 countries abstained from the vote, of which 19 were African countries. The other countries were Central African Republic, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Algeria, South Sudan, Congo, Guinea, Mali, Uganda, Togo, and Burundi. The move by the Southern African countries is not surprising because they maintained an earlier stance as part of the 35 countries that in March abstained from the UN General Assembly vote, which demanded that Russia stop its invasion of Ukraine. Now, according to the Institute for Security Studies in Pretoria, the war in Ukraine has made Africa a key area of competition among global powers. SA's International Relations and Cooperation Minister defended its position, saying, "We believe the objective of this assembly, in keeping with its mandate, must always be contribute to a constructive outcome conducive for the creation of sustainable peace in Ukraine. Unfortunately, some elements of this resolution do not address this. In the context of heightened tension in recent days, all efforts should be geared towards a ceasefire and a political solution."
Now, lecturers in Nigeria's universities have suspended, which began 8 months ago. They suspended their strike, which began 8 months ago. They were demanding better funding for universities, more facilities, and an improved pay system, among other issues. Several rounds of talks with the government had failed to resolve the dispute. Last month, a court ordered the lecturers to end the strike, but their union appealed against the decision. However, in the early hours of Friday, the Academic Staff Union of Universities announced the suspension of the strike after a meeting of its leaders overnight. Union Vice President Chris Piuna confirmed the suspension of the strike to the BBC. That brings us to the end of our Africa news. Do stay with NMH at 1 as we head into the international news stories shortly.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news, and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening@synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.
In our international news this afternoon, a Florida jury yesterday decided to spare Nicholas Cruz, a gunman who killed 17 people in 2018 at a high school in the city of Parkland, from the death penalty, instead calling for life in prison without possibility of parole. Some family members of the victim shook their heads in the Ford court room as the jury rejected the prosecution's request for the death penalty for Cruz in one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history. Cruz, who's 24, showed little emotion while sitting in the defense lawyer's table attorney as the verdict was read. Cruz pleaded guilty last year at the premeditated murder at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, about 50 kilometers north of Fort. Cruz, who was 19 at the time of the crime, had been expelled from the school, used a semi-automatic rifle to kill 14 students and 3 staff members. Now, the jury found that mitigating factors such as disorder described by witnesses as stemming from his biological mother's substance abuse during pregnancy outweighed aggravating factors. Now, the prosecution had argued that Cruz's crime was premeditated as well as heinous and cruel, which are among criteria that Florida's law establishes for deciding whether a death sentence should be imposed.
Oh, right. So no death sentence after killing 17 people. Indian wildlife authorities yesterday caught a tiger blamed for killing 13 people over 10 months. An official said Namib conflict tiger, or CT1, the 5-year-old male, was tranquilized and caught nearly a week after officials declared it a threat to humans and authorized its capture. The big cat has been blamed for killing 13 people in remote forested parts of the western state of Maharashtra since last December, including 2 in one day. Its most recent killing was last month. We have been trailing the tiger for a while, and it was finally captured inside the forest, wildlife official Kishore Manka told AFP. Manka said all the victims were attacked inside the forest area, where some of them lived or had entered to collect firewood. The tiger has been moved to the nearby Nagpur region and is being monitored by vets before a decision is taken about its future. He said it will either be released or remain in captivity. On Saturday, police shot dead another tiger, which had killed 9 people in the eastern state of Bihar in a major operation involving 200 people, including trackers on elephants. Stay with NMH at 1 as we head into your local sports after the break. The My.NA Cars Show provides viewers with the best in-class cars content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest cars-related news, products, and services. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Cars, more than just a ride. Heading into local sports, the Namibia Eagles have a chance of producing another sensational performance at this year's ICC T20 Cricket World Cup in Australia. Namibia goes up against Sri Lanka, the Netherlands and the United Arab Emirates. Namibia Sports Commission Chief Administrator Freddie Muya expressed his gratitude towards Cricket Namibia's administration and the players. NSC spokesperson Chalo Chainda shared the same sentiments as Muya said the Eagles deserve the widespread praise they have received given their journey to reach the top.
In our next story, Okeri Hikuria, a Swakopmund secondary school-going learner and an inspiration to all her fellow peers at SS, started playing football in primary school. She grew up to like it very much and eventually developed a love for football. Now, Okeri started playing for Festus Konteb, a school team, in 2017. The following year, she played for Dragon City, a local soccer team. Okeri started off as a goalkeeper, and after all the trials and regulations, she moved on to compete in Grootfontein for the youth game representing the Erongo region. Following this, she was then scouted by the national team coaches. In September 2021, she took part in the under-20 trials.
Now, Athletic Club FA have just returned from their KZN soccer tournament that took place in South Africa from 5 to 9 October. According to Ricky Avera of ACFA, the 5-day tour to KwaZulu-Natal enabled a lot of character development and exposure for young, raw Namibian talent to allow a broader sense of how football professionals train and develop elsewhere. Part of the tour included intensive training on foreign ground, as well as watching a live match at the Moses Mabhida Stadium, where AmaZulu played against Richards Bay.
All right, we take a look at our sports news, international sports news rather.
After the historic results on the opening day of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup India 2022, the remaining teams got their campaigns underway on their second day of action. China PR beat Mexico 2-1 at the DY Patil Stadium in Navi, Mumbai in the Group C curtain raiser, putting themselves in a strong position in what is a tricky section. In the group's second game, Spain took all 3 points thanks to a 1-0 triumph over Colombia.
Now, Richard Bays will be targeting the DStv Premiership's top spot when they host their KwaZulu-Natal rivals Maritzburg United at the King Zwelithini Stadium on Saturday. The Natal Rich Boys have had a fairy tale shot to their debut season in the local top flight, having extended their unbeaten run to 5 matches when they drew 0-0 with Orlando Pirates away last weekend. The KwaZulu-Natal side is placed second on the DStv Premiership standing, a point behind leader Mamelodi Sundowns, and they will climb to the top of the log with a win over Maritzburg, as Masandawana will be playing the CAF Champion League on Friday.
Now, Springbok lock Eben Etzebeth will make his run-on debut for the South Sea Sharks on Saturday when they host Glasgow Warriors in their Vodacom United Rugby Championship clash at Hollywood-Bit Kings Park. Etzebeth has been a key and very popular signing for the South Sea Sharks, and he will play alongside a number of Springboks who are back in URC action following the conclusion of the Castle Lager Rugby Championship. Scrum half Jaden Hendricks, fresh off his exploits with the Springboks, has returned to the South Sea Sharks team as well, and he can't wait to get stuck in. Now, if you're just joining us, stay with us as we head into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast.
Erongo Talk brings you community news in the Erongo region. For news-related or advertising queries, contact Erongo Talk at synergy.com.na. Erongo Talk, our community, your news.
Thank you very much for spending your lunch hour with us. If you are just joining us, let's have a look at our highlights. South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Tanzania are the Southern African Development Community countries which chose to abstain from a United Nations vote in condemning Russia's annexing parts of Ukraine. A Florida jury yesterday decided to spare Niklaus Cruz, the gunman who killed 17 people in 2018 at a high school in the city of Parkland, from the death penalty, instead calling for life in prison without possibility of parole. The Namibian Eagles have a chance of producing another sensational performance at this year's ICC T20 Cricket World Cup in Australia.
Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs, economic news, sports and international headlines. That's it from us in studio, but don't go anywhere because up next is news from Namibia's Erongo region in today's edition of Erongo Talk.
Hello Irongo Talk viewers and welcome back to another exciting episode of Irongo Talk, where we bring you as per usual your latest weather and tides and news. And today we speak with Philemon Tangeni Norbert, a Walvis Bay based singer commonly known as Noro Vibe, where he talks about his passion for music and some of his upcoming musical plans for the future. I'm your host Sheldon Johannes, please stay tuned. And now for our first news story. Swakopmund will host its first bodybuilding event. So Namibia will host its first Sunfest Bodybuilding and Fitness Classic on the 15th of October at the Mondesa Multipurpose Center in Swakopmund. More than 20 athletes are expected to compete for the Arnold qualifier, and spectators can expect phenomenal athletes in spectacular condition as well as good food and music. Alethea Borman, the 2018's Arnold's bodybuilding champion, as well as the first only International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness IFBB pro athlete from Namibia, explained that the Sunfest Multipurpose Festival series was initiated and hosted by Gentle Giant Promotions in 2021 as a national and Southern Africa's project and series, with 11 scheduled for 2020. Now she added that the events will be in South Africa in all 9 provinces as well as in Botswana and Namibia, creating an opportunity and platform for sports and arts to develop and grow across the country. This platform will be available to any sport or arts with the goal of encouraging participation and showcasing the sport to a different audience every month. Swakopmund tees up at Rosmond. The Destination Swakopmund monthly better ball competition took place on Saturday, the 8th of October. There was a fair field despite many of our Saturday golfers were competing in Windhoek. The day was quite chilly with a cool northerly wind. It was great to see some new faces amongst the winners and upsetting the apple cart, so to speak, as far as the merit list is concerned. Tini van Rensburg shot the only two club of the day. The overall winners were Rena and Billy Knight on 45 points, John Horner and Tini van Rensburg on 43 points in a count out over Marco Swartz, and Warren Theron finished in second position. A big thank you to Gerard and his team headed up by Olivia, not only for your continued support of golf at Rosmond, but for all the work and effort they put in to promote Namibia as a number 1 destination. And now for our final story, we bring you some golf club news. So last week was the third and final leg of the Old Man River Challenges, which was the new format of the medalless stable Ford points. There were a few big medal scores and none higher than 13 on par second hole. No names, no pack drill, which obviously spoiled a great round and took sad players out of the competition. The winner on the day was David Peak, winning a count out on 16 points, with Anton van Rensburg also playing 16 points in second place. The third place, also winning a count out on 17 points, was Nado Sardina, piping Shane Westerdale. However, it would not be keeping up with the trend if Shane did not win a prize, and so he did. 44 stable points saw him win the stable Ford prize and a new handicap 3 lower than when he started the round. There was only 2 club on the day, and this was by Kevin de Rieck. Well done to the green team on getting the course up and running after the coring. Great work, guys, and thanks for the efforts. So if you guys want to read more on this, please make sure to visit our website. That's at www.irongo.com.na. Stay tuned.
Boba, shoot-a-dee-shoo. I'm so lost, so loopy over you. Baby, Boba, shoot-a-dee-shoo. I'm so lost, so loopy over you.
Hello viewers, I'm joined by Noro Vibe.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, man, what type of music do you do?
I'm actually more into Afropop, trap music, a little bit of hip hop R&B.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you start doing music?
I started way back in 2013. Yeah, I still remember, like, I used to have like a group called Club Family, you know, but the group wasn't really doing much progress, so that's the time when I started to like go solo. Yeah, man, you know.
Okay. And tell us about your first single.
Well, my first single is like, how it came about is like, there was a time where I used to go to this other producer, you know, back in Angola. But then obviously I didn't really have money like to record, you know. So I was going through a lot, man. So it's a time, I decided like, yo, bro, since I don't have money like to record, you know, let me just, you know, clean your studio and maybe I can pay for it. Yeah, so that's when the song came into play, and the song's title is like Todos Dias So, that means every day is me, you know.
Every day is you.
Yeah, yeah.
And what are you currently working on right now?
Currently I'm just working on singles and visuals, yeah.
Is there any project that you're working on?
Yeah, I recently dropped a lyrical video with a song titled Far Away. Yeah, but currently I'm still just checking where I can actually push.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any albums out?
Yeah, I do. Like my first album is called This Time. It's on YouTube, SoundCloud. Yeah, you can get it there.
Okay, tell us more about the album. What type of songs are on the album?
Basically, the album is just a mixture of Afropop, Afrofusion, and R&B, you know? Yeah.
How many songs are on the album?
Guess it's 10 songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now tell us, man, about your passion for music. Where did it start?
I guess I always had it in me, like, ever since a child, man. I was like, there was a time where I used to be a big fan of, I'm still a fan though, like, of Michael Jackson. That's like back in primary. So when the moonwalk came into play, yes, when I really started like diving more into music.
Okay, so Michael Jackson is, you would say, is your inspiration?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. And now, who would you say are your top 5 favorite artists currently?
Yo, top 5, yo, that's difficult. Yo, it's kind of hard,
Just off
bro.
the top of your head, man.
Yo, currently.
Or it can even be of all time. You can start with Michael Jackson.
Okay, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Burna Boy, Tory Lanez, and The Weeknd, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And now looking at the future, like where do you see your music, like let's say in 10 years?
Yo, I'm really not sure, but like I'm pushing like internationally, you know. Yeah, that's the target.
Okay. And
Yeah.
where are you based currently?
Like pace, like where I stay. We're in Namibia, Wolfish Bay. Yeah.
And where have you been working on your albums, your music? Who's your producer?
I've been working with various producers like Roman Beats, TJ Javi. Who else did I work with? Yeah, man. Kind of like those are mostly the producers that I work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as an artist here, like let's say here in Wolfish Bay, what would you say are like some of your challenges that you face?
For artists, I just feel like for you to be like a successful artist, you just need to push, man. Like, and you also need to have like financial stability. You know, if you don't have money, you ain't gonna move, bro.
Yeah, but now, what challenges do you face currently?
Maybe
like, when it comes
challenges.
to doing your music, studio.
Yeah, kind of like maybe just like challenges, bro. Let me check. Challenges is no, there's a lot, man. Maybe just
like say
when it comes
music
maybe
videos.
to music videos, definitely just about like the money, financially, you know.
Okay, and how many music videos do you have out currently?
I'm currently having 2 music videos and 1 lyrical video.
Okay, the other 2 music videos are the names of the songs.
All About and Director.
Okay, and All About is about what now?
All About is basically just about those shorties with nice body, you know. You get like, when you see that body, you just wanna like, you drive me crazy and all that, yeah.
And Director?
Director is basically based on a type of movie, you know, type of shandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, what would you say are some of your favorite songs? Your songs?
Bro,
off the top of your head, just.
There's Director, there's Natango, there's This Time, and another side also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Natango, can you tell us a bit about Natango?
Natango was actually recorded by Roman Beats. I featured Motion and Hairness. It's basically just a kind of club vibe song, you know. It's a party song, yeah.
So you said you're not currently working on any projects. Like, are you thinking about working on a new album?
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah.
And what type of vibes do you
I've been
want
pushing
to put in this one?
Been pushing for an album lately. It's just that I kind of lost my files, so like, yeah.
So you have to start over.
I have to start over.
But like, what vibes do you want to put in the new album?
Definitely Afrofusion, more dancing, like kind of dancing music for clubs and stuff. Yeah.
Do you also do amapiano music?
I've tried to work on one, but yeah, it's on the way. It's in the studio.
Okay, now looking at the Namibian music industry, what would you say like are some of the things? Do you think that we are where we are supposed to be, or there's still like a lot of room for improvement?
I just feel like we are underrated, man. Like Namibians are, but I feel like in Namibia there's a lot of talent. It's just a matter of like putting in more work and just believing, you know. Yeah.
And now, as for the government, now, how do you think the government can maybe support local artists? Maybe by sponsoring, or maybe the private sectors can come in, do shows for.
Yeah, kinda.
Like for you now personally, what kind of help would you want from the corporates?
Sponsorship, basically, mostly.
Sponsorship in terms of
in events
shows.
through events and all that.
Okay, and how many shows have you performed at?
Yo, bro,
difficult.
I can remember it's a lot. I don't even have a number.
And what would you say are like your highlights or your the highlights of the performance that you never forget?
Yeah, I remember this other time when I was performing at a fashion show. Bro, I kid, man. Yeah, sorry for the.
It's fine. So now also Okay, what message would you also like to share there with your fans?
My fans is just more work is coming and don't stop believing in the boy, you know. Yeah.